Before you pay for your first sample, I need you to hear this. A sample is almost never just one cost. It's usually a stack of costs. And if you don't ask the right questions up front, you'll pay twice, sometimes 3 times more. So in this video, I'm walking you through what to expect, what to ask before you pay, and how to avoid the expensive mistakes I see designers make all the time. If you're new here, hi, I'm Giovanna. I design handbags, and I'm documenting my move from handcrafted to manufacturing. I've been through the sample process, and I want you to go into yours prepared and not surprised. Let's break down what you're actually paying for when you pay for your first sample. You're paying for development and pattern work, prototype build, the actual sample, materials and hardware, molds, dyes, and tools, and those are usually a one-time cost, and shipping both ways. Revisions. Now this is where people get hurt. And here's the part nobody tells you. Some costs are one-time. Setup costs, like your cutting dies, your molds, your custom stamps. And some are per sample costs. And if you don't separate those, then you'll misunderstand the quote and you'll blow your entire budget. For example, you might pay for a heat stamp mold once and you own it, but the sample build itself, now that's a whole separate cost. Now here are the questions you ask before you pay. If they can't answer these questions clearly, pause. Your scope and deliverables. Now, you want to ask, what exactly is included in this sample quote? Also, are pattern and tech pack review included, or is that separate? You also want to ask, how many rounds of revisions does this cover? And what counts as a revision versus a brand new sample having to be made? Now for ownership, and this is huge, you want to ask, do I own the patterns after I pay? Do I own the dyes and the molds after I pay? And if I leave, can I take my patterns and tools with me? Now some places will keep your patterns unless you negotiate ownership. If you're paying for development, you want to know what you actually own. Now for your materials and sourcing, you want to ask, are materials included? And if not, who sources them? Is it you or is it them? Can I supply my own leather and hardware? What material specs do you need from me so you can quote me accurately? And also, are there minimum order quantities for materials that I should know now? Because what ends up happening is you approve a sample and then you find out that the leather you use can't be ordered at scale. Now that right there, that's a painful lesson. I knew once I saw my sample bag that I needed to lock that leather in right away. So I bought it all up, even though I wasn't ready to start production right away. Now for your production reality check, you want to find out, is this sample made using your real production methods? You also want to find out, if we go into production, what needs to change to make this manufacturable? Also, what's your minimum order quantity? Can you afford what their order quantity is? And what's the estimated production label per unit if we were to move forward? You want the sample to be a bridge to your production, not just a pretty one-off that can't be made at scale. For your timeline and communication, you want to find out what's the timeline for your sample number one, and then how do they prefer feedback? Is it email? Is it marked up photos? Is it going to be video calls? What do they prefer? And then when will you get updates? Will the updates come weekly, or will they only give them to you by milestones? Now for your payments and refunds, you want to find out, what's the payment schedule? Is it half up front and then the rest later? Also, if I'm unhappy with the sample, then what's going to happen next? Isn't any part of this refundable? Now that's usually a no, but it doesn't hurt to ask. Now let me help you avoid expensive mistakes. Mistake number one is paying before your design is fully defined. If your measurements, your straps, your pocket placement, your closure type, whatever, if that's still in a we'll figure it out, then you'll pay for that in revisions. So a way to fix that is to decide your non-negotiables before your first sample is made. Now another mistake is no tech pack, no clear references. A manufacturer is not a mind reader, and if you don't give clear direction, then they'll make assumptions. And guess what? You'll pay to undo them. So the fix for that is, even a simple tech pack is better than just figuring out with vibes. Now, another mistake is using sample materials that you can't scale. You fall in love with the leather or hardware that's not available in production quantities, and then you're forced to redesign. The fix for that is, what you want to ask is, can we source this at scale before you approve it? Another mistake, not negotiating revision rules. Some revisions are minor and some are basically a new sample. If that line is unclear, your budget disappears. So the fix for that is to get revision policy in writing. And mistake number 5, ignoring ownership. If you pay for development, but you don't own your patterns or tools, then switching manufacturers can mean starting all over financially. And the way to fix that is to clarify ownership upfront, always. Now here's a simple checklist that I want you to use before you pay for your first sample. If you can't check most of these off, you're not ready to pay yet. And that's okay. That's not a failure. That's you protecting your money. And if you're building your brand and trying to avoid expensive learning curves, subscribe, because I'm documenting the full manufacturing journey step by step.